to flip this button, and we're now like cameras viewed. There we go.
Philip, are you looking at the doc?
I have it up.
I see. Oh, don't.
I am, yes.
Or not the
no?
doc. Sorry, I'm looking at the show notes.
Okay, but you could access it, Philip.
Yes, I could. I
Okay,
saw
well,
the
that's...
spots where it said like
yeah, I see the link.
And...
Okay. Yeah, I want that to be a whole surprise.
Yeah. No, I get it. But yeah, this way you can put it in there. We just click the link whenever you want us to look at it. I think that's
Cool
your
beans.
easiest bet.
All right. Well, I am set up then.
All right.
Which you're talking about an RPG book, Chris?
What?
You're talking about an RPG book?
Yes.
Who's it? What is it?
From Paizo, Pathfinder.
P-A-I-S-O?
No, P-A-I-Z-O.
Zio.
Zio, thank you.
Or Zed,
I
as our Canadian neighbors would say.
Does that show up right, or is it reversed?
Shows up correctly.
Okay, because in my screen, which means on the screen up there, it shows up reversed. Yeah, that's funny. On the video, it's going to be reversed.
That's weird. So I tried to share the video to the the St. Mary's County board gamers like I normally do, and it won't let me do it.
Well, you said it was having issues last time.
Yeah, that was on my phone. This one's on... Huh.
I did my share via mobile because that's what I was familiar with.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do for...
Do you like having the monitor on for us, Cindy?
You know what it was? I was sharing it as Boards and Swords.
Yeah, I have to do that.
I just realized. Having the monitor's fine, yes. Because I like being able to...
Yeah, I've had to do that before, especially like when I share stuff to other groups, is I'll have to like, oh, wait, no, share as me. Yeah, Rusted Beetle mentioned the same thing. Yeah, the word Pathfinder, yeah, it's going to be weird to see the entire book's reversed. I just need like let me do like a mirror and just like...
Oh, so we can see the video now?
Yes. I said the cameras are hot.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it is backwards, Chris.
Yeah, it's backwards on ours, too.
That's weird.
Well, no, it's yours will be correct.
Properly?
Yeah,
okay.
Yours is correct, but the problem is it reverses, I'm assuming, it reverses my camera to show you. So for you, it's right. But because I'm recording my screen, and that's what gets sent up to the thing, then it's wrong.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
I guess, like, I could join.
That's funny is what it is.
Oh, you can mirror your video.
Oh, you can?
Mirror was on for me. So
how did you change that?
It's in the preferences for the Zoom app.
Okay, let's see video settings. Hope this doesn't share. All right, I'm going to turn this off only just because in case it shows.
It's correct now, or it's still correct on the stream for you.
Cool.
Hey, look at that. It's now correct. Look at that.
Excellent.
Well, would you look at that?
Hold something up, just making sure on my screen that it didn't. Okay, cool.
Why did it go to the standby screen?
It did for a second because when I was opening my settings, I didn't want it to accidentally show something.
You didn't want to show anything special off.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know what was in there. Or if it's like it shows like the meeting code and suddenly at random
addresses and
yeah, exactly.
Social security numbers.
It is right now, though.
Yes.
That way you could hack the bullet wounds.
All right, I am ready to go.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
All right, Colin, are you good?
I'm good.
All right. Start show in 3, 2, 1. Thanks, everyone who has supported our Patreon. If you want to go get some extra content, then you need to go check out patreon.com/boardsandswords. live on mobile platforms all around the world and all sorts of different sites at the behest of no one. It's time for Boards and Swords. That's right. It's time for Boards and Swords. This is the show where we just have a grand old time talking about some tabletop games. I am one of your hosts. My name is Chris Renshaw, and on the little Zoom call screen over there, we have we have Con and Cindy.
Hi.
Hello.
And then down there, we got my compatriot Philip.
What's going on, everybody?
It works because on the screen that's important, which is my screen, which is what the stream is, you have team swords in one corner, and then you have team boards over there. So it's literally boards and swords.
Oh, that's awesome. How fun.
I did not plan that. I just came up with that on the spot.
Well, it worked out well.
So how is everybody today? And that's a general question. That's not just to those people. That's to people out there on the stream, out there on the chat. Because as I found out last time, there are people watching that don't comment, and it makes it feel like no one's there.
Oh,
Hello.
Like, I look on the stream.
out there?
I look on the stream, or I look on all the stats, and it's like, oh, there was like this many people. I'm like, nobody was talking. We didn't think anybody was there.
We attract all the creepers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're just so entertaining, they don't feel the need to interact. But this is an interactive experience. This is not like The Bachelorette or something. I was thinking like standard TV show, and it was the first thing that came to mind.
Do you watch The Bachelorette?
I mean,
Yeah, why was that the
no.
first thing that came to mind?
no.
Yeah, instead of The Bachelor, you went a step further.
Chris.
I mean,
That's funny.
so anyways, how about some news? So, moving right along, I will say that you'll notice I even put it in the title of this episode. There's no jokes about the Spiel des Jahres winners in here because I'd actually have to have heard of the games to make a joke about them.
Oh, the winners. Yeah.
Yeah. Although that was a joke, but technically, yes, I've heard of Die Crew. Anyways.
Die crew.
Die! I got excited at first because it was like, I know it's The Crew, but the German version was Die Crew. And I was like, Dice! And then it was like, oh, man. So, Philip, I got some RPG news in here to keep you awake.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I wasn't-
exactly.
yeah, I'm here. But,
Modifius has announced that they're making a new core rulebook for their Star Trek Adventures RPG. This time, setting the game in the Klingon Empire. Did you know? I think I shared this link with you. Did you, or is this the first? Did you pay attention to that link?
I did not pay attention to the link, but I did pay attention to the show notes
Okay.
because I saw my name.
It is there.
Pre-orders for the book have already started, so we should actually see this book real soon. I'm assuming this would have been a Gen Con release.
Yeah, we'll get to see it at
Oh.
Oh.
I'm not sure what's in the book, but I imagine Philip grasping it will be the most Klingon thing I've ever seen.
What? I mean,
I must have it.
Do I stop and explain, or do I just
No,
move along?
just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep going.
Just keep going. I'll
All right.
figure it out when I'm listening again.
When
Uh,
we stop, she can stand up and dust herself off.
The next one, I honestly put in here for the types of people that this is for you. If you feel like my news do not cover games that you're usually interested, this next boy is specifically for you because I give two craps about this at all. I give less than two craps, whatever that means.
Hey, be
Queen-
nice to us.
Queen Games has announced the first two titles of its new Steffenfeld City collection. I even mentioned it in here, something I have no interest in, but I'm sure someone does.
Uh-huh.
These two titles will be Hamburg and Amsterdam, which, as it turns out, will be new implementations of Feld's older games, Bruges and Macau.
Bruges.
Bruges. Sorry,
Bruges?
I'm reading it instead of like. I should have taken the S off in there. Bruges and Macau.
Yes. We
What?
played. Sorry.
No,
you're
go
not done.
ahead.
Go
No,
ahead.
no,
No,
I'm not
no.
even gonna say anything.
Conversation happens after the joke. She
Go.
knows that now.
All right. All I can say is why they changed it. I can't say. People must like it better that way.
Oh my word. That wasn't worth it.
We were wondering about why they would change the setting necessarily, but it might have something to do with like Ravensburger has the rights to the ugly stuff.
Probably.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of excited about them, even though Bruges is now Hamburg. I'm excited about it because Bruges is like impossible to find. So
In English, anyway.
right in English. So I'm really really excited because I've heard it's a very good game, and so I'm excited to have the opportunity to hopefully play it. And then it was Amsterdam instead of Macau, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we've played Macau, and I think Amsterdam could be a very nice implementation of it because it's just basically a city full of water, like because you're traveling along the water.
All I'm saying
Blah,
is
blah.
I need more people like Matt when he enters the chat and he makes himself known. He is like, Matt has entered the chat.
What does that have to do with me talking about Bruges?
No, but it
slash
just happened.
Hamburg.
It just happened. So that's what I'm saying.
Fine.
Also,
I see how it
I'm
is.
disappointed because I made a musical joke and it was not received very well.
No, I got it.
I got what the
Well,
joke
no, you
was.
got it, but it was just kind of like meh. Anyways, I'm gonna keep going. All right. So, Pandemic Legacy Season 0 is happening.
Yay.
Probably the worst timing.
like
in the-
it's happening.
Yeah, like-
or there's a game coming out.
There-
There's
Both.
a new
Which
game
one are
they
you?
announced.
both.
Oh, okay. A little bit of both though.
Yeah, I said probably the worst timing in the history of games, which they seem to have now that I'm thinking about this on the spot. They released that Pandemic Rising Tide,
Hot Zone.
like
Oh,
they released that
Rising
right after
Tide.
that Katrina came in and like flooded. Or no, who was
Not Katrina.
not
No,
Katrina?
it wasn't Katrina.
Was it?
It wasn't flooding here. It was flooding in Europe.
Oh, was it Europe? I thought
Yeah,
it
I'm
was.
pretty
I
sure.
thought that was the Puerto Rico thing, or I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, there was like right after a big flood, they're like, we're gonna do Pandemic Rising Tide, and everyone's like, and now they're doing it again with Pandemic Legacy. Z-Man is set to release this prequel to the Pandemic Legacy series later this year. The game is set during the Cold War as covert operations between the U.S. and the Soviet Union are starting to heat up. There's even a special envelope to open if your character thinks the pandemic is a hoax. It's got a match in it. Uh-oh. I think everybody died.
Nope, I'm still here.
Oh. Ooh. They lost power. Oh, now the video's going to get all wonky. That sucks. Though we had that happen we had that happen yesterday where just the power went out and then it came back and then it went out again.
Oh yeah, that happened to me too.
Yeah. Which is weird for us because we have underground lines straight to the substation. So it's like, where did it go wrong? And like I understand the first one, but like the second one, like what happened? Sandy's in the chat and she wants a cupcake like in your picture. Uh-oh, did I lose Philip
No,
too?
Sandy,
Oh.
my cupcake.
That's my papa. Here we go. We could just do the Chris and Philip show. Hey, Zach's here too. This is what I'm talking about. People announcing themselves. Do not be shy. While we're waiting, I'm trying to think of something. I'm trying to think of a general question we can get people to answer. Let's see,
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
That's dumb. I don't want to hear that.
You're dumb.
Your face is dumb.
How do you know? You can't see it.
I know what your face looks like. Besides, it's on the screen over there.
That was a good hair day. You can't really
Mm.
use that as a baseline.
I will say, Sandy says, give me the cupcake. I want to know, has anybody ever played Pathfinder before? Because if so, they should go read my Pathfinder 2nd Edition review that just went up there. And I think we're starting to get them reconnecting again.
Yep.
Sorry, we lost power.
It's
Colin,
so...
what was that, Sesame Street there for a second? You're like, yep.
It's
Nope.
Okay, so where we left off, we were talking about the flooding. It was the flooding in Houston from Hurricane Harvey.
Right, that was it.
Yeah, I looked it up. I was like, hold on, while I waited for the Wi-Fi to reconnect, I'm
Yeah.
gonna look this up.
I thought it was something U.S. based because I think it was around. I was at Nova Open and they were doing a special Nova charity bar, and like all the money, the profits from the drinks went to Harvey relief.
Yes, that's exactly what it was, and they announced Rising Tide.
Yeah,
Which they were announcing it anyway, and then it just happened to coincide with the fact that torrential flooding.
Oh
was
my
happening.
gosh. My child likes to send a whole bunch of text messages rapidly in a row.
Oh.
And
So they just come through and buzz on your hand.
Yeah, and so like my just wrist and this is just like going off the top. Hey, Rusted Beetle talks. He got the Pathfinder 2nd Edition bundle. I was trying to find a question to ask while we're waiting for y'all and get the chat involved.
Oh, gotcha.
And
cool.
he got, because right now there's a humble bundle where you can pay like $5, $10, $20 or something like that and get like a crap ton of RPG Pathfinder books. And Zach D has not played Pathfinder. Is that because you don't play RPGs, or have you just not tried Pathfinder for some reason? So anyways, you probably didn't hear the punchline to the joke.
Which joke?
The Pandemic Legacy one.
Oh, no, probably not, because we got kicked off.
Okay. So I'm going to read the whole joke over again so that Philip or that Colin can cut it in. Probably the worst timing in the history of games, but Z-Man is set to release this prequel to the Pandemic Legacy series later this year. The game is set during the Cold War as covert operations between the US and the Soviet Union are starting to heat up. There's even a special envelope to open if your character thinks the pandemic is a hoax. It has a match in it. You just set the whole thing on fire.
Gosh.
Oh.
I'm actually excited for this new Pandemic Legacy. Because
they're right. They did switch it.
That era of switch what?
You guys switched positions, so it threw my names off.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Because it's totally your fault that your power went out.
I know. We never lose power. It's so weird. I don't know.
We're still in the same column, though. I would just leave it.
It's, well, now that I've got the power of being able to quickly edit stuff.
Power of editing!
It's not so bad.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was saying was the era of history, like the Cold War and World War II, that kind of thing, it's really interesting to me. Like, I mean, I know that it was lots of bad stuff that happened, but it's just, I don't know. It was something I always enjoyed learning about. So I'm very excited about this new Pandemic Legacy.
Does it get you wanting to finish the season 2?
Oh, we finished season 2.
Yeah,
I thought you stopped.
There was like a year between our campaign and the last game of it.
I misunderstood.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. It did take us a long time to finish it. We didn't really have a desire to, but I think if we play season 0 together, it'll be just the two of us.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, because you probably won't have a new group yet. And the fact that we're probably still going to be in lockdown.
Yeah, possibly.
So
that's very true.
Let's talk. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Nope. Go ahead.
No, you go.
It wasn't important. So
all right. Let's reminisce, shall we? Back to the year 2000.
Yeah.
The distant future.
The distant future.
We were all in 8th grade.
When I was in middle school learning HTML, Reiner Knizia was putting out the Lord of the Rings board game.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
20 years later, Fantasy Flight Games is going to be putting out a special anniversary edition of the Lord of the Rings board game.
20 years?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I feel so old.
I'm glad that 8th grade was 20 years ago because that needs to get farther away than possible.
I was awesome in 8th grade. I don't know what you're talking about.
I wasn't.
No. There's a theory that somebody told me once that everybody is just weird in middle school.
Oh, I was. My username on AOL AIM was Hyper
were?
Weird Girl.
What?
What?
I'm sorry, you said you were?
I mean, shut up. But no, my username was Hyper Weird Girl.
Oh. Some of us didn't even have AIM at that point.
I was so hyper. Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah.
So, this is going to be pretty fitting too, as the like your standard 20th anniversary gift is China, and guess where this game's going to get made?
China.
All right, last one, I promise. I put it in the notes as obligatory Marvel Champions news.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That's my second favorite part of writing the news, is then writing sub jokes into the show notes. That like, if you're not reading the show notes, that's like half my fun right there.
No, I enjoy them. I really enjoy them.
Speaking of FFG, they announced a new scenario pack for Marvel Champions called the Once and
Once and Future Raspberry.
Yeah, the Once and Future Kang. You remember Kang the Conqueror, Philip?
No.
You're more of a DC person. Anyways, he's a time traveling villain known as Kang the Conqueror. You'll fight this villain, and then when you defeat his first phase, he separates the party and throws everyone into a different version of time, where you have to fight like alternate versions of Kang before you get like brought back together into the present and like fight him back again. Whatever you think of that, you really got to hand it to FFG. They really know how to start a second game. I can't speak.
It's okay.
They really know how to start a game's second year off with a Kang.
Oh my god.
I'm done now.
He'll make it sound eloquent, Chris.
No, he won't. He'll do it on purpose.
He went out on a... like, quite literally.
Pretty
It
much.
was amazing.
All right, somebody else talk.
So we got new shelves in
Yeah.
our living room.
So we had a 1x4 calyx.
Hang on. I might be able to get it in the shot. Ooh, look at that. Right behind me.
Oh yeah. So we had a 1x4 calyx that we had stuck little legs on, feet, whatever you want to call them. And we're using that. We used to use that as our entertainment center in our living room. And, you know, we put doors and drawers for miscellaneous, like hiding of the animals' treats and toys and stuff. And we realized that we didn't need that necessarily. And so we found a 2x4 calyx on Facebook Marketplace, and we bought it and sold our old one and filled it with games.
Yeah, so now we have games easily accessible. We don't have to go down to the basement to get them.
Yeah.
Nice. So, like,
Yeah,
you
it
put
is
Carson
really nice.
City in there, like your top 10s basically go on that list. On
Kind
that row.
of, yeah.
Yeah, most of
That's
them.
mostly what it is.
It's just like all Western games.
No.
There's actually
No.
only like 4 Western games over there. And-
City gets to verify.
5. He forgot Flick 'em Up because it's not on the same shelf as the other Westerns because it's with Junk Art.
I mean,
And
I was
then I
just
guess-
approximating.
And then
but
I guess we do say Lewis and Clark is Western adjacent. So there you go.
I call it. It's in the American West category.
Isn't Western adjacent just like Southern?
What?
That's the Rockies.
Yeah, so it's really cool. And it made our TV a little higher. And it was like, it blew my mind at
420.
first. I was like, what is wrong with my TV? Like, I don't know if I could deal with the TV being this high, but
Speaking
used
of
to
the
it now.
Rockies.
Yeah. So yeah, new shelving. Great. Games local.
yeah.
Well, as you'll hear, and you've probably gathered if you've been paying attention to the website, I've been doing a lot of RPG reading because I don't have much anything else to do. The past week we thought there was the rest of the family had COVID-like symptoms, so we were all on lockdown while we waited for test results to come back. by the way. I'm like hitting my breaking point as far as all the what's it?
Isolation.
This isolation. Yeah, I'm reaching my breaking point on that somewhat.
I'm sorry,
But
but you're trying to be extra careful because of Ashley, right?
well, yeah. But yeah, so like they were isolated in separate rooms, and so I've been just down
Mhm.
here in the basement or on the main floor the whole time, and so it just gets to the point where it's just like
Yeah.
I need to do something, anything. Maybe I'll just sleep.
Aw.
So then that's
And
why I like write stuff because it's like I might as well write something because then it's better than sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
And
fine
you-
for us at first because we could get out and walk and stuff, but now it's been so hot.
Oh my gosh.
Well, there's a difference. There's a difference between just staying by yourselves, like inside. Then there's straight up, you're not seeing or interacting with anybody, not even like one other person. That's
Yeah.
when it starts going bonkers. You do that for a
Yeah.
week.
Well, I start
'Cause you
wondering if
couldn't
Cindy's
even-
just in my head.
But it's not like you could have even had told Philip like, "Hey, come over and play games with me," because if it was positive and you were asymptomatic, that would have been
Right.
bad. So, yeah, I get it. That would be tough.
Yeah, and Zach remarked in the comments talking about Facebook Marketplace is great for that kind of furniture stuff. We've picked up
Oh, it is.
We've even picked up stuff for free off of there. Like we needed some
Nice.
extra seating in the living room and somebody was just giving away a love seat. I was like,
Oh,
"Okay,
that's
cool.
awesome.
Nice."
Yeah, we've had good luck with selling stuff on there, especially too.
In a pre-COVID world.
Yeah. I mean, we actually have been selling a bunch of stuff on there, but we've been very careful about,
And there's a whole
you know.
cleansing process after
Yeah.
like handling the money, wash
Oh,
your
yeah.
hands, like
The money goes into
get
a
the
little
door,
jar.
my hands are tainted.
Yeah.
Yeah. The money goes into a jar. We don't touch it. And he washes his hands immediately, wears the mask when he's encountering people and all. Yeah.
Well, it's like when you brought one of my mixers back and had some games with it. I just shoved it over in that side room and just didn't touch it for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Well, that's like the longest time period that they say.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Yeah,
I thought it
for
was less
people.
for surfaces, but
There's like I don't know. I've heard there's a bunch of different things on that. Like some people
don't
thought
worry,
it
I'll
was
cut this part out.
yeah. Some people were saying it was like only 3 days, and then some people are saying maybe it's not that. Maybe it's more than that. So
gotcha. Yeah,
I
It's
just
really
think-
anywhere between 30 minutes and the rest of your life.
yeah.
yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, Matthew's
So,
talking
yeah.
about he used to work in banking, and physical money is some of the dirtiest stuff in the world.
It is.
Yeah, have you seen that? Like there's videos where
so
people have
is.
taken like black lights to money.
Oh, it's so gross.
Yeah. Although you don't
Yeah.
really have to worry about it right now because apparently we're in a coin shortage.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I saw
I
somebody.
guess they stopped making coins.
I think it's probably because of board gamers. They're trying to replace.
Well,
the
no,
money
I
in
think
their
what
games.
it honestly, I think what it is when the pandemic happened, everyone got so afraid of stuff collapsing that they just held on to their money.
Oh,
Like
Mhm.
everybody went to their bank and pulled out money and then are just hanging on to it. And so there's just not as much going into circulation. I think.
I very rarely use cash anymore.
Right.
Like it's mostly almost a credit card or Apple Pay
Yeah.
because it's just so convenient. But I have cash because of the Facebook Marketplace transaction.
Right. Yeah, I was at Walmart, side story here. I was at Walmart and I was in the self-checkouts and this old man is like trying to check out and like he's like stumbling off and his wife or companion was there like it's okay, I'll pay for it. And then he goes over and he gets one of the guys and brings it over. I thought like maybe something got rang up that they didn't mean to. They come over and the guy points at the machine and is like, oh, the guy's like, oh yeah, this is card only. And the guy's like, why can't I use cash at this machine? And he's like, the guy's just like, yeah, we're kind of in a coin shortage. You might be able to go to customer service if you want to use cash.
I guess they couldn't do change then. That was probably the issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen some places that are like exact service if you're using cash. Like this one lady,
Yeah, I've seen that too.
a week or two ago, I was in Lowe's and somebody, I gave them like $1 and my change was like 14 cents. And I was just like, keep the change. And the lady's like, you don't want it? I'm like, well, your sign on the door said exact change. I read the sign. Philip, I read the sign.
Yeah. Interesting.
I say that because Philip and I used to make jokes about how many times people would not read the sign when they'd be like, what, your credit card's machine's
no,
down?
I'm still railing on that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about the guy at the self checkout. There's a red border around the screen.
Yeah.
And there's words right at the top says, credit cards only. And then when you scan your first item,
yeah, I was about to say,
this machine only accepts credit cards.
I was about to say, isn't the
Yeah.
first thing it asks is like, oh, by the way, you won't be able to use cash.
Yes. That's so weird. I don't understand people. Like, how could you be that like obtuse?
Oblivious?
Obtuse.
All right.
I like that word.
Americans stop reading posted signage. Say it ain't so. All right, somebody steer us back to board games. Colin, Cindy, one of you.
Rubber goose, green goose.
I don't have anything else to talk about. We've recorded last week. We haven't played very much.
Are we done bantering?
Probably.
Okay, cool.
Well, we have a couple things we wanted to talk about, and first thing that I will get into is the Deadlies from Smirk and Dagger. Smirk and Dagger. had to double check. Sometimes. But,
hey, Colin, you got something sticking out of your back, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Been wondering where that was. But yeah, it's so the Deadlies. It's a quick playing card game, and sort of in the vein of like Uno, but not Uno.
Yeah.
You're trying to get rid of all the cards in your hand, and you do that 3 times, and you win the game.
Yeah.
And what each of the cards represents, they represent the different deadly sins, the 7 deadly sins. And so you got wrath, pride, envy, sloth,
greed.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of different ones, 7 different suits for 7 deadly sins.
And there's 1 through 7 in each of the different suits.
Yeah. And so how you're playing cards, you can play just a single card, or you can play sets of cards. You can play as many as you want of the same sin. You can play a run, no matter what numbers they are, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or just 1, 2.
You mean whatever suits they are?
Yeah, it doesn't matter the suit. And I said sins. That's.
Oh right. You said numbers, I thought, but okay.
Anyway, so you can play any amount of the same number, also. So that would be suit independent, and whatever card is on top, if you're playing more than one card, is what's going to be active. And each card has an ability that they trigger when you play it. So pride, I say, Cindy, do you have any pride? And if she does, then I draw a card. If she doesn't, then she draws a card. And it's a lot of like kind of stab your neighbor type thing, because Smirk and Dagger.
Yeah.
But the wrath is probably my favorite, though, because you force a player to draw 2 cards, and then after drawing cards, if they have a wrath, they can basically retaliate and make you draw 2 cards. And
they can keep going.
In one of our games, it went like 5 or 6 times back and forth.
I knew it couldn't go any further because I had the last wrath. And I wasn't the one in the back and forth. It was really funny.
But yeah, each one of them has their own unique thing that they're doing. And greed is kind of cool because it's sort of a press your luck thing in the midst of the whole thing. And you are dealing cards out to different players. And if you get a match that isn't greed, then you bust. And all those cards come to you. And if you don't, then if you decide to stop, they'll go to the other players. But if you deal out 5 successfully without matching anything besides greed, then you just get to discard your whole hand.
Yeah. But you have to do at least 2 cards that deal out 2 cards before you can say, I'm going to stop.
So each player has one of these little thingies.
I got excited. That looked like a dice for a second. Or die.
No, it's
a little
flat.
cardboard.
I know, but like when you first, the angle when you held it up, I thought it was a die.
Actually, it's not a square, it's a diamond, isn't it?
They're the same.
Anyway, it's a counter that's in front of each player,
counter.
and it starts off with 6 because you have 6 cards in your hand. And once you get all the cards out of your hand, you'll rotate it. So now it's saying 4. And then once you empty your hand again, it's 2.
Ah.
Mark it down to 0, you win.
Mm-hmm.
It's another one of those little simple things to keep track of stuff that I really like that they had in We Need to Talk also. It was just something, there was something simple in there that was just really nice.
Yeah, because then We Need to Talk, it was the how close or how far meter thing.
So there's something else in the game. There's a couple of special cards. There's Purity, which will get you the Halo, which is on the table. And if you have the Halo in your hand, you play it, you get to discard your whole hand. And what's fun is there's a couple of cards that pull cards out of your hand for other players. And so if you get the Halo in your hand, you're not guaranteed to discard your hand.
Yeah, because somebody can steal it from you.
And if there's a reshuffle in the midst and someone plays Purity, they'll take the Halo from you. That doesn't happen in any of our games. But then there's this tricky card here, Corruption. And it says this card is all 7 suits.
Whoa.
It sounds like it's just a wild, but it's always all 7 suits. And there's certain cards that deal with if
number of cards.
If there's this card in their hand, like so I asked Cindy if she has Pride. If she has Corruption, she has Pride.
Yeah.
If I play a Sloth card, that has to stay in front of me. And if she plays Corruption, that is considered Sloth.
Even
so
if I use
it'll
a different
trigger
ability.
abilities with that.
Yeah. And yeah.
And it matches everything. So if you flip that up during Greed, you just automatically bust.
Is there? You said that is there only one of those?
There's
Yes.
only one, yeah.
There's one Purity and one Corruption.
So the tricky thing about this card, though, is it doesn't explain what all the sins are on it. So
yeah,
putting it in there right away it's been kind of tricky for
is there like a player aid that lists them out?
There
There's
isn't.
not.
Oh.
So I asked a question on BGG forums about it, saying like, "Hey, is it cool? Does it break the game if I just leave that card out for like the first game?" And the designer responded saying, "No, that actually could be really good." At first, we had thought about keeping those special cards off to the side until we reshuffle once.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good." And there was one game.
I'm sure there's probably something you could print off also that lists all the.
Yeah,
We
you
could make a
certainly
player
do
aid.
that. Yeah. So there's those. That's 2 or 3 different options. You can just leave it out entirely, shuffle it in after the first shuffle, or get a printout, make a printout. Anyway, that's the game. This is a fun time. For me, it feels more like Rummy than Uno.
Yes.
I mean, you're not necessarily drawing cards off a stack or anything, but you're laying down runs and sets
I got
of
hints
cards.
of Go Fish in there a little bit when you were talking about like, do you have any pride?
Yeah, it's almost like a hodgepodge of different mechanisms. Each card has its own thing, and it's just a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Even for just the 2 of you, was it a lot of fun? Or
so it is a 3 to 5 player game, but the
this
designer
got delivered right before the lockdown started.
Yeah, the designer made a 2-player variant that actually works pretty well. It only changes there's 3 additional rules.
Yeah,
it was like for Pride, instead of drawing 1 card, you draw 2, and I forget. I think the Sloth penalty was 2 cards as well.
But it still works pretty well.
Really it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does. It does.
And you can technically do 6 players. It's so optional 6 player. What would the Deadlies be without being able to corrupt the rules a bit? The game is well suited for 3 to 5 players, but can be stretched for a 6-player game as well, because there's a 6th player chit thing in the box.
Oh yeah.
So I just love that they put that thing in there in the rules to like you can mess with the rules if you want. It'll work. But yeah, so it technically does 2 to 6 players, and we've played 2 to 4.
Yeah, I don't think we've played more than 4.
Yeah, and it played really well at all those counts.
Yeah, we've actually played this over Tabletop Simulator a few times too, and it worked really well on there also.
So yeah, I give the Deadlies 2 good thumbs up.
Oh, definitely. This is a 3 to 5 player game that is staying in our collection. Even if we didn't have the 2-player variant, it would still stay in our collection because it's that good.
Yeah, so I would probably put this for a quick
party
game.
Party game, but not like the party game feel, but not the party game size. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Yeah, it's really compact. You could pretty much put this in a deck box.
I think he
For-
means sizes and player count.
Yeah,
But
I was saying
I'm just
like,
talking about
yeah,
I'm talking about travel size now, though.
gotcha.
Yeah.
But
I'm assuming it got brought up only because you were talking about sins, but our trusty reporter on the scene, Rusted Beetle, has brought it to our attention that Massive Darkness 2 Hellscape Kickstarter will be is announced for August 4th. I'm assuming that was tied in only because we're talking about 7 deadly sins
Gotcha.
and Hellscape.
But yeah, so I would give this probably an 8 to 8.5 on the BGG scale.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This is one of those games that I just keep wanting to play. Like every time, like, let's play the Deadlies. I want to play it some more. I really like it a lot.
But yeah, so that's the Deadlies.
From Smirk and Dagger.
Have yourself a hell of a time.
Ah! There you go. That makes the. Oh, by the way, if I can share more of how desperate I've been recently. So, especially when I saw this news about Marvel Champions, the Once and Future Kang, and I was reading because I thought that it was going to be a ways away, but the first campaign box is literally like right around the corner, about to be released, and I'm like, I want to play this game again so bad that I was just, and plus the fact that, like, as I mentioned, it may be like a year again before I see like my family, because like my dad's got really bad. He's been over the past couple of years been getting surgery to help his breathing. So the last thing we need to do is like potentially bring a respiratory disease in. But I yesterday, like, I texted him, or I called them and was just like, oh, we should do some sort of like online game day, and then like we could either like set like the cameras up and like play an app together. Like my mom has the Ticket to Ride app, so I was like, oh, we could all play Ticket to Ride or whatever. And so I made a list of like a couple of games that we could play, and at the very top, like, I had said this to Ashley, but she's like, I don't know if they'd be doing that. At the very top I put like Marvel Champions over video chat, and like as soon as I texted the list to him, the first thing my dad was like Marvel Champions, what? So I literally went on Amazon today and bought him a couple of character decks for Marvel Champions.
Nice.
That's so awesome.
Because of the nature of Marvel Champions, he doesn't need to have the entire game. He likes Captain America, and he likes aggressive style players, which they just released a Thor pack not too long ago, which is like that. So I just sent him both of those.
Oh, that's so awesome, Chris. I'm glad you're able to do that for him.
Yeah.
And for you.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's a lot for me too.
That's so cool.
Just reading I don't know if I want to say it.
I'm sorry.
What?
No, read the chat. Anyways, so I'm going to talk about something that's not out of character for me, but is a little out of character for the show. And like I mentioned, I've been reading a lot of RPG books, and I have one in here in particular I wanted to talk about, mainly because I've been writing blog post reviews for these, but this is a very like minute thing. So I feel like if
a bedtime story.
Yeah, it does feel like one of those books. Like, here, I'll compare it.
Like, good night, dungeon.
This is the core rule book for Pathfinder, and then like this is the this supplement book. Like, this is the difference here. So what I have here for those not on video is the Pathfinder 2nd edition, which I just released the core rulebook review up. This is the Lost Omens, Gods, and Magics. So the current like setting that they're using for Pathfinder is called the Age of Lost Omens, which is actually a really cool idea. It's basically there were all these prophecies, like this one god was going to go off and he was going to come back and it was going to be this like Age of Enlightenment. Well, that god died instead, and all of a sudden every prophecy everywhere just stopped working.
Wait, a god can die?
Depending on different things. Like a lot of times, like in polytheistic things like gods can kill other gods and that sort of thing.
It's like the entire premise behind Stargate.
Then again, this god was only a god because he was a man that found like an artifact that gave him godlike powers. Long story that somebody will probably correct me on. But anyways, it was just a neat idea of you have all these like prophecies that have been told, and then just all of them just none of them come true. It's like when those end times people are always talking about like the Mayans.
Oh yeah.
But anyways,
the world is 2012.
So this book is specifically talking about that setting, but in specifically mentioning religion and magic, because the one thing, if you know anything about Pathfinder, the one thing that people that play Pathfinder love more than anything else is options. They love having so many character options. And yes, the Pathfinder is still set in Galarion. That's the name of the world that they have. Somebody asked. But like, it's just like, you want extra spells? We got them. You want new feats and abilities? We got them. Which is really cool because like one of them, like, you know, paladins can have like smites and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, Philip, have you ever played a paladin in D&D?
I played that Dragonborn paladin who fell in the river.
Oh, right. That was your first. That was the 4th edition one, right?
Yeah.
But
and,
like,
yeah, you're right. There were a lot of options because when I was using that
Yeah.
character creator he had, man, there were so many drop-down menus on that thing.
Yeah. 5th edition has scaled that back a little bit. That's one of a lot of major differences is people that really like, and think about like, these are people like, I made references to Euro games and people that play Pathfinder because it's like that person that needs to optimize their engine in like a game to get like to squeak out all the points that they can. That's the kind of person that plays Pathfinder because they can like fine tune their character stats exactly the way they want them so that they're getting exactly the right stuff. But one of the things here is like, you know, you can have a paladin that just does like smites or things, but like one of them here is like battle prayer, calling out to your deity. You recite scripture to harm a foe. So instead of like attacking them with like a spell or your attack, this is like literally I'm like saying a prayer to harm a person kind of thing.
It's like witchcraft.
Well,
Well,
no,
no, 'cause that would be a spell.
yeah, but this is think like an exorcism kind of thing.
Got it.
Like if you want to talk like modern portrayals is like when you're
Sure.
saying like a prayer to like release a, you know, like be gone, like that sort of thing.
The power of Christ compels you.
Yeah, exactly.
I need an old priest and a young priest.
And I mean, those options are over halfway through the book. The first half of the book is just like every like divine creature you could ever want ever in a game. I mean, there's so much stuff in here. It even goes into like other things that are like gods, but not exactly gods. Like for instance, it brings in like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. It brings in great old ones and elder gods like Azathoth and Hastur and Yog-Sothoth.
Cthulhu!
It surprisingly does not mention Cthulhu.
Okay, then burn that book. That book's crap. Nobody cares anymore.
I wonder if, because the last time that they actually did a Cthulhu-themed adventure, but it was in part with Chaosium, who owns the Call of Cthulhu. They have a Call of Cthulhu license for their RPG, and I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. Like, they own like I know it's public domain, but just I wonder if there's some sort of trademark-ish things on RPGs. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, there's a bunch of different things. My favorite the coolest one is there's a god of death, which is different than what you a lot of times see is portrayed in like gods of death. It's not an evil person. Like it's not like a naturally like they're you got your alignment tree. They're just true neutral because it's not like they want to spread death. They're more of just the god of like the life cycle in general. Like, okay, they're the god of life and death kind of thing.
It's an inevitability.
Yeah, like they're the person that people get brought to be finally judged on where they go kind of thing. So like you could be a paladin of this god and, you know, like you worship like the god of death, but it's not like an evil thing. You're just, everything's got its time and place, sort of. That's kind of what you believe.
I'm just immediately picturing this god as Christopher Walken.
I'd have to look and see if I could find it. While you guys talk about, I might look at it some more. So yeah, I think this is really cool. Players probably don't need to have this. If one person in your group has that's probably good enough. Because I want to say this hardback here is $34.99. This is definitely like a wait for it to be on sale sort of thing. Or a lot of times Paizo's really good about the pricing their PDFs. So you could probably get this for under $20 on Paizo's website, the PDF, and there's so much information in here that you're not going to reference during a game. It's mainly for character creation type stuff. So having a PDF versus a book is not going to be that big of an issue.
That's good.
So yeah, there you go. The
Cool.
Pathfinder, Lost Omens, Gods, and Magic.
Cool.
All right. So Colin and I, we've talked about this before because we love the Exit the Game series. And Cosmos actually sent us 3 different Exit the Games recently. So we got the first one, we got 2 at the same time. We got the Stormy Flight. Yeah, Stormy Flight. And then they also sent us the Theft on the Mississippi. And then about a month later, they also sent us, that's upside down, the House of Riddles. So we played the Stormy Flight and Theft on the Mississippi fairly soon after we got them. Actually, we played all these fairly soon after we got each of them because we just love these things so much. And we're not going to do like spoilers or anything for those of you who might want to play them. But we were just going to talk a little bit about...
The object of the game is to get out.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, we were just going to talk a little bit about like what we liked about each of the game, the intricacy of the puzzles for each of the different ones and things like that. So in the Stormy Flight, basically you are on a plane and you're going to some island or something. I
Going
forget.
somewhere.
Yeah, you're going somewhere. And your plane gets hijacked basically, or something happens and you can't access the like the pilots need your help to land the plane is basically what it boils down to. Like things break and mechanical failures. That's what it is. And so you're basically going through and trying to fix these mechanical failures so that way you can land the plane safely without everybody inside dying. And so it's as typical of the exit games. You have the book that tell like your little hint clue book, whatever. And this is one of the ones that you have to stop at each page. You can't turn the page until it tells you to. And so those I think are kind of interesting because it's like you know what you need to focus on. Like, okay, I have this clue. I have to focus on this page. There's nothing else in this book that's going to help me with this clue. And I think I actually really like those because it allows your mind to focus instead of wondering, do I need something from some of the other pages in the book or what's going on? So I think all of these were like that, weren't they?
No. Theft on the Mississippi, you could move around.
Oh, could you? Okay. I don't remember.
But yeah, the objective is to get out or figure... Theft on the Mississippi is actually a whodunit.
It is.
And it's similar to another one that was our favorite of the series with Dead Man on the Orient Express. And that's another whodunit. We actually did that on our trip last year that we took out to Arizona.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's another whodunit, and you can move around. You're trying to figure out who has done it. And there's different puzzles you're figuring out to eliminate different suspects in that one.
And then House of Riddles, you've been called to this like mansion place by a team of detectives, and they want your help discovering, I think it was, they were trying to get you to help them with the
think you're just testing
with
out
the
their
puzzles.
riddles.
Yeah, like you're trying to help them with their riddles, but you have no idea that you're walking into a literal escape room. Like, and so when you enter into this mansion, the door's locked and you have to find your way to the people by solving all the riddles through the mansion. So that one was this one was a literal escape room. Like you literally have to escape from the mansion. Whereas the other two, one was you're trying to safely land a plane, and the other is like Colin said, you're trying to find a murderer.
Yeah, we played the Theft on the Mississippi and Stormy Flight by ourselves, and we played House of Riddles with my parents, and they hadn't done one of these before. They hadn't even done a regular escape room before, and they seem to do well at it. Like my dad said, like, "Ooh, that was intense." Like it's just like we got to get it done. We can.
Yeah. The levels of difficulty for these, the Stormy Flight was a 2, Theft on the Mississippi is a 3, and House of Riddles is a 2.
Did it match those?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
For the most part, yeah. There was one part in House of Riddles that was a little frustrating.
But we still House of Riddles.
It wasn't necessarily level of puzzle. It was just frustrating.
It was something that our brains did not go to at all. Is basically what it boils down to for that one puzzle. But
tip for people playing this: if you're thinking something, say it.
Yeah,
the group might run with it.
Yeah.
So I have a question because apologies if you answered it while I was looking up that character, but is it like some? Because I know some of the other 2s and 3s that I've seen for some of the exit games, the puzzles are more linear. Versus,
oh yeah,
I think
Cindy was talking about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So I mentioned that in Stormy Flight and House of Riddles, the books are you're on a page, you solve a clue, and then it tells you to turn the page.
Okay.
In Theft on the Mississippi, you can wander through the book.
Gotcha.
And you can access all the stuff. So that one you have to deduce, what do I need for this particular clue? Like obviously, like all the other puzzles, the symbol that you're trying to solve for is somewhere around on the page that you're using for the most part, but not always. Like sometimes you're like, oh. And I think in Theft on the Mississippi there was a couple things where we used some of the clues, so to speak, some of the stuff on the pages in a few different puzzles. Like it was like for this one we used it for colors, for this one we used the numbers that were associated, that kind of thing.
So how many total exit games have you played? Because I know you said you were a fan.
Almost all of them.
Okay.
I think we played all but one.
We haven't played the Abandoned Cabin.
Is that the one I have?
You have?
Yes, that's why we haven't played it.
It's probably going to be so easy for y'all now at this point. I'm going to be like, I don't get this. And you're like, are you kidding? It's right here on this page.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, when we played with my parents, we
that was fast.
It was our most recent one. And we know generally how you're supposed to think with these things now. And so I was trying to like kick to my parents saying, here, what do you think we should do?
Like, we were tossing them a bone.
We were letting them do a lot of the legwork, like the writing of stuff and cutting and just letting them do things, and like we would get their opinions because we didn't want to just barrel over them with knowing what. Well, it's definitely got to be this, we wanted them to be able to figure it out too. But yeah, we solved House of Riddles in just over 60 minutes. And normally Colin and I average about 90 minutes on the boxes, each of the different games. Like some of them would take us a little longer, but generally our average is 90 minutes. And so that one, I think it was like 60, it was like literally just over 60 minutes that we beat it.
I think it was like 65.
Okay. Yeah, I was so impressed. I'm like, wow, it was. So House of Riddles so far, I think, has been the absolute easiest one that we've done. But that could also be because we've done a bunch of these and we kind of know what they're trying to get you to think of. But
well, that was going to be my question is you've played a lot of them. Is it ever getting to a point where like it just feels samey, or is each one, have they managed to like vary all the puzzles enough to?
They're all very different. I mean, sure, like they'll guide you in a similar direction. Like, okay, this one, obviously I need to cut here, like cut something out to make it like, how you make like the snowflakes as a kid where you fold the paper and a couple things and you cut out and you open it up and it's got like, spaces, and the spaces mean something in this game. So sometimes they, have a few of those in different games, but generally no, like the the theming is so unique in each of them that it makes the puzzles unique in each of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and revisiting for people that don't know, you do destroy the game
Right.
as you
Yes.
play it.
And you use every part of the box, the game, everything.
Everything is in play. Like
Mhm.
don't throw like sometimes the rule booklet might work. I can't remember if that's
There
happened or
is.
not.
There's been the rule book has
the
made.
Parts of the box might be in play. You don't know.
Mhm.
There
Yeah.
might be stuff hidden.
Yeah, sometimes we found stuff under the insert you know what I mean? Like you just never know. You do not put anything from that box aside. Like you can put it on the table off to the side, but don't like throw it in the trash until after you're completely done with everything because you may need it.
Yeah, after
Yeah,
playing
so-
all the legacy games that we've played, I'm starting to get to the point when I open a game, I automatically pull up the insert and see if there's anything underneath.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they are technically disposable, but we recycle them every time we're done with them, and so I don't think of it as so bad as it could be.
Yeah.
But-
And
yeah.
sorry. And for me, I love the escape room, like the idea of escape rooms. And
Yeah.
especially in this time where, they might be opening up escape rooms again in person. I don't know. I don't know if our local ones are open yet or not, but I personally don't know that I feel comfortable yet going to an escape room, even if they are like, limiting groups to just people that sign up together, and they're like wiping things down. I still don't know that I would feel comfortable going to an in-person escape room. So this is an awesome implementation of that because you get that. To me, it's that same tactile feel of solving the puzzles. And because you're actually, it is very physical where you're tearing up pages and moving cars around and writing and doing stuff. And so it's in this pandemic time, I think it's an awesome thing for you an awesome experience for someone to have. And it's only like most of the games MSRP is $15. The only one that's more is the Catacombs of Horror, and that one is more because it's a two-parter.
Yeah, it's
$24.95.
Yeah, it's not even twice the price. It's yeah.
And so it's two escape rooms basically in one box for that.
We played it in one night though.
We did, yeah. No, we didn't.
Hey,
Yeah, we did.
Hoser 40K in the chat room is saying that there's actually an escape room company that's doing online plays
Yes.
of their escape room.
I actually have seen some companies doing that, which is awesome. But regardless, like this is cheaper than an escape room. Like, like
They're
I said,
usually like 25 a person, and this is 15
$15
total.
Oh, yeah,
total.
yeah.
So it's definitely worth it cost-wise, in my opinion.
Especially when you got like 3 people in a household, and it's like, well, I could pay $75 for an hour
Yes.
experience, or I'll
Yes.
just go buy a $15 board game.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, obviously it's not the same as doing it live,
Right.
but it gives you that same puzzly thinkiness in my mind anyway.
But yeah, so Beetle mentioned in the chat about not using the timer, but I love the timer app that they have with it
Yes.
because each of the things has an associated background soundtrack that plays with the timer.
Mm-hmm.
And so like on Dead Man in the Orient Express, you hear like background train noises, and in the House of Riddles, you'll hear like kind of creaking doors and stuff.
Like it sounds like a haunted house of sorts.
Yeah.
And then the Stormy Flight, you were here like
Most of it's like airplane noise.
yeah,
like that.
it's like white noise on an airplane, and every once in a while you hear like the dinging of the seatbelt light kicking on, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's so ambient. There's so much ambiance with the timer app. It's Cosmos, I think, is the app. So yeah, definitely recommend specifically these 3: the Stormy Flight, House of Riddles, and Theft on the Mississippi.
Yeah. Of the 3, Theft on the Mississippi is my favorite.
Yes, agreed. House of Riddles was the easiest, in our opinion. But yeah, they're all excellent. I would recommend any of them for sure. I think Stormy Flight had an instance where I got really mad, but that's not unusual for me. I get frustrated somewhat
there's
easily.
usually one puzzle that we get hung up on in these.
Yeah. But generally, yeah, it they're awesome games, and
Yeah.
I highly recommend the Exit the Game series from Cosmos.
I prefer them at 2 players
Yeah, I do
just
too.
because you don't have to share as much.
Yes.
But 4 players, it works well too.
We've never played 3 players.
No, we haven't.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, so again, 2 thumbs.
Yes, definitely.
This is a 2 thumbs episode.
For us anyway.
Take note.
Psh, psh. All right. Then Colin, while you get the game show stuff ready, I'm just going to say a big thank you to our patrons. I don't have any puns for you this week because I think I still am waiting on some people to send me their games of choice. So, but I will say thank you to those that have supported us over at patreon.com/boards and swords. We've got a bunch of stuff in the works. Like I mentioned this last time, the dice are here. I think I may try and get those shipped out this week. And lots of other good things in the works as well. So if you're not a patron, and just to let you know, just a reminder, there's all sorts of physical benefits, like the fact that you get dice or whatever. You can also get shout outs here on the show. You also get potentially puns if you want to hear me do terrible puns of your game, of your favorite game. And then there's even tiers. We have one person, so Cody, that I did last time. He's the only person so far that has pledged. He's in the RPG, which is weird because it's hard to do an RPG with just one person. So I need other. I don't need other people, but I'm sure Cody would appreciate other people subscribing to the RPG, the custom RPG thing. And I've definitely got a bunch of ideas for whenever I get around to doing that. Or if RPGs aren't your bag, then you get the chance to play in a board game, probably digital at this point, since Con's going to is not really going to be happening soon with Colin and Cindy.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we're on Tabletop Simulator. We love playing with people.
Yes, it's so much fun.
So, and if you want to see that, plus there is a couple of bonus episodes in there. I'm sure once we get past the summer and some things that we'll get more bonus episode stuff coming out. And of course, there's the Tales in the Slipstring coming very soon. We've unlocked that. We're just kind of getting stuff in order. So all of that you can get by going to patreon.com/boards and swords. And with that, I'm going to pass it to Colin.
Awesome. Okay. So I have a sort of I stole this kind of from Jimmy Fallon, the Mad Lib Theater.
Okay.
So I have crafted a story that's going to be exchanged between characters, and we are going to fill in some of the blanks from one person. So who wants to be my person giving me my words?
Me.
Okay.
This is my shocked face.
I won't look at your words.
Don't look at my screen.
I won't look at your screen.
Okay. All right.
So that means Philip and Chris get to perform?
No, I haven't said who's performing yet.
Oh.
So, okay. So first up, I need an object.
Pumpkin.
A pumpkin. Okay. All right. I need a boy's name.
Monty.
Monty. All right.
Carlo.
I need a game mechanism.
Worker placement.
Okay, worker placement.
She said flicking. I was going to quit.
All right. I need a place.
Hollywood.
And an animal.
Tarantula.
All right. Give me another boy's name.
Odysseus.
Odysseus.
No, he didn't.
I think I spelled
Odysseus?
that right.
Nah, he's good.
An adjective.
Happy.
A plural noun. Come on, don't think too hard.
Airplanes.
Okay, let's see. I need a number. I need 2 numbers, actually.
7. 9,504.
Okay, 9,504. Okay. Okay, what would you say if you won the lottery?
Yippee-ki-yay.
Absolutely nothing. What the hell are you talking about?
Mother effers.
Yeah. You can add that.
I'm not sure I spelled that.
Yippee ki yay. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
All right. And I need a verb.
Pushing.
A push.
Or push. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. All right. I need another noun.
Human.
Okay. I need an exclamation.
Egad.
How about give me a color?
Rainbow.
Okay. Next up, I need a violent verb.
Stab.
Somehow I knew that was going to be what was said there. I need some bad advice now.
Please touch a hot stove.
Don't diversify your bonds.
All right. Next up, I
Bad
need
advice. Listen to this podcast.
Aw.
I need another verb.
Hum.
I don't know if hum has one or two M's, but
It's
I'm putting
one M.
I'm putting two.
It's one
It's
M.
stuck with two now. I moved on. I need a noun.
Dog.
Dog. I need another noun.
Mountain.
Okay. I need a verb.
Climb.
Plural noun.
Shoes.
Shoes. I need a body part.
Weenus.
I need a verb.
Tickle.
Okay. And
Look out, your epidermis is showing.
I need one more verb.
Shuffle. Thanks, Chris.
Okay. So we are going to have Chris and Philip read the story. Chris, you are going to be blue, and Philip, you're going to be yellow. I've highlighted the lines.
Okay, so we
And-
can open the thing now.
Yep, and you're going to play out the scene.
Okay, hold
I
on.
forgot a word.
Oh, wait, hang on. Cindy, you're not supposed to be looking at it.
Oh, sorry.
So I can look at it.
The very first word.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
I need
and
a place.
who's
Oh,
which?
Hold on. I need to give him a place.
Give me a place.
The office.
Gen Con.
Okay, now you can.
All right, who's who again?
Chris, you're going to be blue. Philip is going to be yellow.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
All right, everyone.
Action.
All right, everyone. Now that we're all here at the office, we can pick out a game to play. I just got a pumpkin with some great games in it.
Hang on there, Monty. You gotta pick the game the last time. And I've been wanting to try out that worker placement game. Hollywood's Tarantulas.
But we always play those games, Odysseus. I want to bust out some of these sweet happy games and beat up some airplanes.
Okay, we can play your games. How long is it going to take to play?
Oh, this one is quick. It only takes 7 minutes to set up, and playtime is about 9,504 minutes per player.
Well, yippee-ki-yay, that is quick. We might even be able to push in a few other games too.
Yeah, maybe. Let's open it up and get on the human.
Egad, they even have my favorite player color, rainbow.
Great, so you have something to be happy about while I stab you.
What?
Now, remember the slogan for our gaming group? Please touch a hot stove.
You know, you're right. I let my desire to hum get in the way of the greatest part of the game night. Dog!
I'm glad we could work this out because I value your mountain.
As I value yours. Hey, you want to climb the shoes?
Only if you tickle them first. My weenuses just don't work right for that.
Okay, let's shuffle.
And scene.
Oh my gosh. I like that it ended okay. Let's shuffle.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that.
You guys did so good. I loved your dramatic reading.
I don't like. Where did we go with like that? What was that like? 50s reading the news type.
Yeah.
whatever.
Honestly, you know what made me go there is the Monty. Is when I saw Monty, I was like, ah, there, Monty.
Oh my gosh. That was so funny.
So yeah, I was thinking about trying to do something for the three of you, but I thought it'd be funnier just to have.
No,
one
this is
person do it.
great.
Yeah,
That was
I
great.
really
we
like
need to
that, honey.
we need to fully cut the audio for that and just like have that somewhere.
That was awesome.
Well, you're welcome.
All right. Is that everybody? Is that
I
everything?
think so.
We got
That's
everything? Everybody said their last words? That's right. Roll that bean footage, that beautiful bean footage. All right, everyone, that wraps up this week's episode. If you want to catch the show live, we record every other Wednesday. We are back on the schedule. Boardsandswords.com/live has the schedule and the links to all of our social platforms. So you can go check out all those live streaming channels.
If you like this show, you're really going to love our live play podcast, The Dirtbags of Holding. You can find that on boardsandswords.com, and that's where we take all of the best RPGs and we play them in the worst ways possible.
So if you do like this show, you can email us comments and questions at feedback@boardsandswords.com. You can follow us on Instagram at boardsandswordspod or on Facebook at facebook.com/boardsandswordspod. And you should also follow our individual accounts. I am Cindy Pastorius on Twitter and Instagram.
I am Colcakes196 on Twitter and Instagram.
I am Chris Isn't Bored, BOARD, on Twitter and Instagram.
And on Twitter, I am Phil the Dirtbag.
And if you didn't know, we are part of a network called Punchboard Media. Punchboardmedia.com has all kinds of content for consuming with your eyes, ears, and your eyes again. Because there's written, video, podcasts, all kinds of stuff on there. And it's all available at punchboardmedia.com.
And once again, thank you out there. Thank you, chat room, for hanging out with us. Make sure you check out patreon.com/boardsandswords to help support the show. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with another great show. In the meantime, remember that every gamer has a story. And you should definitely follow me on Instagram because I've been going around and posting puns to everyone's pictures. And it's great. And I love it.
It's annoying. It's just Chris.
Although it's hard to make puns for Jaws of the Lion so many times because that's all people are posting about right now.
I've seen only a few things about it.
I've seen so many Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion
Yeah.
posts.
Obviously, we follow different people.
No way.
What was that?
I'm assuming he did a manual fade out, and then since we were still talking, he brought it back.
Well, I was before it let me click it to end it, and since it was faded all the way down, I figured it'd just stay there, but it jumped back up, and there was like 2 seconds left.
That was really weird.
If we get back to doing this where I'm just sitting here, maybe I need to just bring the mixer out of the closet here and just manually control it because you were talking about the ducking thing.
Oh yeah, I was messing with it some. Like I'd bring it up like in terms of soundbite, I'd bring it up 30 clicks for when you're talking, and then duck it back down to like 30 less when we're talking. So that's not a hassle too much to do if that works out. Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night on the chat.